right. Well, I also want to just use the opportunity to thank a few people on behalf of the OpenSky board, in particular Yunzi, who has created an amazing technical program. So let's applaud that quickly. For us, it's really good to see what has become from the very small beginnings of the OpenSky workshop, and now having this opportunity to get people together, a lot of, well, a big community that's very diverse, as we've seen throughout the program. It goes way beyond what we ever imagined. So our plans are clearly not exactly predicting what will happen in the future, because it's just not plannable, I think, because the community itself is what drives a lot that happens here. With that said, I can give at least some insights behind the scenes. If I can click. You know this, right? But for maybe some newcomers, we always have to mention this. The OpenSky Network is a non-profit association. We're based in Switzerland, and we are research oriented. This is why we have this workshop. This is why we have all of you here. This is why we don't only have talks, but since 2 years ago in Frankfurt, we also have papers. We have proceedings that we publish, and some of these actually have an impact. People read them, people cite them, and this is really great to see. So that's simply part of our mission. We want to improve the safety, reliability, security of the airspace, and we just facilitate that with the data, with this symposium, but you ultimately do a lot of the work. What are 4 things that I want to talk about today in this final keynote? As I said, give you a little insight behind the scenes at OpenSky. I present some numbers, updates from last year mostly. The voice feeding has been mentioned quite a few times. I just really want to make sure that everyone has seen this new endeavor. And finally, last but certainly not least, we will talk about next year's symposium. So it's German, but I'm sure you will get the gist of this. OpenSky is often used for a lot of really hard-hitting journalism, like this one. Like this is telling people from the in Switzerland that, well, Swiss people, instead of London, they are rather flying to Mallorca in Spain, right? That's it. Like, you can use OpenSky data for absolutely everything, and more often than not, it is relatively straightforward data analysis that interests a lot of people. But to enable this, we have by now 3 actual employees. You've all met Alan here, who is our first employee, but we have been joined by Fabian and John, who I don't think they're with us because they're in New Zealand, and the time difference makes it, even doing remote working times. We could probably tell them that they should spend their Friday nights here, right? Either way, I just wanted to mention them. You may run into them here and there. They're responsible also for implementations of projects such as the ATCO2 one or our collaboration with Eurocontrol. So you should know also, besides Alan, who's here, Fabian and John, who've been doing really good work for us. An example of the things that we have to deal with, and they have to deal with, sometimes we just, well, outpaced by our own success, right? So some of you may have been using our live API as well. I know not everyone doing research is. Our Impala database and the way is the main way of accessing our data for a lot of the researchers. I know I chatted to Xavier and Yunzi, and they said, wait, something happened. And we never use the API, right? But a lot of people do. So really tens of thousands of people use it every day. And we had a lot of trouble with that, like keeping the performance up over the year. As you can see here a bit. Luckily, we fixed this about a month ago. And so if you've been using it, you should have noticed like 2 orders of magnitude improvement in our response time. Maybe you're also on our website and you should have noticed that that has become much perkier again, which is quite nice. Some ongoing stuff. Well, we're doing some infrastructure moves behind the scenes. One reason is we want to expand our storage in the medium term. Some numbers here, pre-COVID, we collected around 10 terabytes per month. That's, yeah, a lot of that is the Mode S ADSB data, but it's really, yeah, Mode S, all of that is being collected and stored. As you may know, if you're using this, this sort of raw data and some of our tables, they are only available in Impala for like 6 to 18 months, while state vectors and other stuff is available since, well, we started around 2014. But yeah, the aim here is really to make this more available. We have all of the data and we want to extend this data access because people keep asking us for older raw data as well. And it is just useful for a lot of also longitudinal research. So I hope then you have access to more roll call replies that you can decode with Unti's library and do some more fun research with that. No promises, as usual, it's all best effort, but hopefully this will happen. So let me get to some numbers, some more numbers. Updates from our Impala database usage. You all know our Impala database, I hope. If not, you should send us the request. You can use our favorite libraries, both from Unti and Xavier here. And a lot of people do. So overall, we have 624 mostly institutional academic researchers who have used it, to receive access. They've submitted, beginning of November, they've submitted 23 million, more than 23 million queries. Distribution over time. Yeah, you had active users. Data goes back to 2018 only, but there we had less than 100 active users in that year. And last year, you will see this in other data as well, was really COVID had a massive impact for us as well, in that a lot of people wanted data very suddenly. Aviation data was just something that was of big concern, big interest in 2020. So this spike, we're still riding this COVID wave for sure. The queries haven't changed all that much, but the number of different users getting data out almost tripled in 2020, and we're roughly on the same level in 2021. A bit further to split up by quarter, basically, and you see this increase in, well, the end of Q1 2020, and then certainly Q2 2020, and we've been at this level basically ever since, with every quarter having 150 distinct users working with data from the Impala database. Another thing that we regularly do is analysis of the data requests we do receive from you. So if you use our application on the website, it basically ends up with me, and then I can do some analysis. So again, a lot of people requested access in 2020 during COVID times. It has eased up a little bit this year, partly because a lot of people already have access from last year. It is certainly still higher than pre-COVID, the new requests, but also, and I will get to that, we found some other ways that not everybody needs actual access to the database to have OpenSky data. If we break this down a little bit further, this is the sort of requests we get. So dominated here still by research and education. So broadly, these are universities and research labs that have been asking and being granted access to the Impala database. But we have a very consistent number of requests also from governments, from journalists and nonprofits, as we've also seen a few of those in presentations at this and the previous workshops. Another way to analyze well, the impact and the output of OpenSky and its data and its community is to look at the publications that have been done using OpenSky data. 2021 obviously goes only until November. I have included the papers for this symposium already, and we see it is ever growing number of papers every year. So we're still not, as you may know, it takes a long time to publish a lot of things. So 1 year, 2 years lag is not unusual. So we're still seeing a lot of the COVID publications just coming in by now. So I've checked, and since the last symposium, we had exactly 100 papers published using OpenSky data. So that's certainly a big impact. If we look at the fields, COVID, of course, as you see in teal here, was suddenly a big topic in 2020 and eased up a little bit in 2021. But the top fields, and we have seen this reflected here, I think, are concerned with traffic management. A lot of people are using it in one way or another with their machine learning methods. Ever more popular, also reflected in session this morning, earth science, climate change related things. So that reflects, I think, what Rainer said. This will become probably one of the dominating topics before long. But on a personal note, I'm also happy to see that security is still a strong contingency, and not just from our own side here, which it is something that was the original reason of doing OpenSky, and we've seen a lot of security-related papers. Yeah, security of ADSB, GNSS things, tracking privacy in 2021. So that is very nice from our personal perspective. As I mentioned, not everybody necessarily needs access through our Impala shell. A lot of people really just want basic metadata, statistical data about the number of flights. So along with Xavier and Yanis, last year we made this dataset public, and Xavier keeps updating it duly every month. And if he doesn't, then people write us emails because they're very desperate and very dependent on it. Not to name some institutions that are also here in Brussels and are concerned with European central banking. But yeah, it's as you can see, it's quite successful. We have more than 50,000 downloads and a lot of people using specifically this really toned down data set that just includes flight movements from place A to place B and some metadata as well. So that eased a lot of the pressure, also my personal time granting access to Impala database, and they can just go and do whatever they want with it. I mentioned, a lot of people have already mentioned it here, the Article 2 project. You can join this. So we're now online. you can use the usual hardware and our software to gather voice recordings. It will be stored in our database and again be available for research, partly alongside annotations. But we are collecting already from 8 different sites, 12 channels. We have a lot of voice segments stored already, but it's starting small, and we expect this to grow, as did all our ADSB reception effort as well. So if you have any ideas how to use this, get in touch with us. Alan sent over this slide, and we have some APIs developed for the access to the voice data as well. But it's all in flux. We don't know yet how. Apparently the computer is about to restart again. Yeah, but it also shouldn't restart. But yeah, it's work in progress. We again depend on you as a community. If you think voice data might be useful for you and you need a specific way to access it, something that we can facilitate, please get in touch, maybe after this or via email or a call. We can discuss this. With that, that brings me to some announcements for next year. And obviously, I also want to thank you, our hosts here at Eurocontrol, Enrico and Rainer, for the perfect organization, and of course the PRC. This year, we're very happy to finally have been here with the OpenSky Symposium. And I think we will be back in one way or another. There will be plans. There might be, since we're now a symposium, there might be some side events that could happen here. We're always happy to be back in Brussels. But that is work in progress. There have been discussions, so let's see how we can facilitate a closer collaboration between OpenSky and the PRC. I think this is a really good thing to do, and we should keep doing this. With that said, oh, the camera, well, then I'm not close enough. All right, thanks. With that said, I am happy to announce the Symposium 2022. And we will be going to Delft. So when Junsi took over the TPC last year, he took on a lot of work, and he's still in this. He offered to host us next year gracefully, and obviously that will mean some work for him as well. But we're super happy to go to one of the, if not the largest aerospace faculty in Europe. I think you have more than 60 professors or something. Yeah, but it is really large, and we see a lot of input here at the OpenSky Symposium as well. So I'm very much looking forward to this, and I think Junsi wants to say a few words.
Yeah, just a few quick words, and thank you, Martin, for bringing this OpenSky to the Netherlands, to TU Delft. I think it's really going to be an exciting symposium again next year. I cannot say much now. Everything is, there's no plan yet. We only know the date potentially, and I just want to say that welcome everyone to join us again in TU Delft next year in aerospace faculty. So more details and the information about the conference will follow next year. I will wear a different hat. I'll still be around even if after next one. I think the community is growing really strong, and myself, I've learned a lot every year when I come to OpenSky, and it's really very enjoyable experience. Thank you, Martin.
Well, thank you, Junsi, for taking on this responsibility again. The second part that we have to do is the TPC chair, and here we have volunteered Michael Schulz from well, currently TU Dresden still, I don't know. Yet I've heard there's a move in order, but we have Michael on, I think, as a panelist. So probably he can say a few words himself.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's not officially, but there's some rumors I heard. Yes, I had some calls this morning. Let's see where it goes. Yeah, unfortunately, I was not able to join you. I have to stay in. Oh, I have a video, so I can put on my video. You see me in my home office in Germany. You see there's, if you look at the Corona map, you see Germany get quite some trouble, even in my area, so we are not able to move. What I hope for the next year is that we can all meet us, not virtually, but in real, and then we really push the topic forward. I really like the idea of going with open data and going with OpenSky networks. I had with you guys very strong advocates, and I be in the line as well. And I hope that we will get all the nice papers, new ideas coming in the next years, and then we will grow up in our community and show what we can do with data and how we connect it to model it and really see, okay, not only make analysis, monitoring, but produce or create some innovative solutions for the future. So I'm very happy. If you have ideas for something, just come to Junsi, come to me, come to anyone you know, and raise your hands and say, okay, if there's a chance to this or that, we will be very happy to have you on board and yeah, to make this conference bigger and bigger growing. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Michael. Yeah, for your words and for taking on this responsibility. I think it's from our side, it's also important to say, yeah, the program committee is not a closed club, right? So if you want to be on this, talk to Michael. If you, in particular, if you have like some diverse research backgrounds, you should definitely be on the committee and drive like the things that you're interested in the community also forward. So I think that's something we do care about. Yes, that it is largely for me. Junsi has mentioned the date. It is tentative, but you can put it in your calendars. It will be Thursday, Friday again, the 3rd and 4th November, or the week after. So there's a chance that it might be the week after. This depends on some internal deliberations at Delft.
Yeah, indeed. So also depends on our new academic calendar, which will be finalized soon after this semester. But it will be either the first week of November or the second week. We will keep everyone up to date once we have the final date. And of course, you will see this date in the COFO papers, which is coming out next year, beginning of the next year.
Great, yeah. Then to me, again, thank you everybody for being here. Also, everybody for attending online, making this a really good conference from OpenSky side of view. We have a few last words, but that's, yeah, goodbye from myself. All right.
Won't take long. It's been a long day for all of us, I guess. So, well, first, just to join to the words of Martin, the contents you have shared these days, they are really impressive and inspiring. I really enjoyed the contents. I will elaborate in a minute, but really, really great effort. The community is really strong, and I've been genuinely impressed by some of the research activities that I've been having the pleasure to hear this today. So really congratulations to you all, and thank you for the impressive effort on. We would like, in the same direction made in the initial presentation, to, I don't know how this goes. Okay, I will. Okay, with the arrows. Okay, that's fine. Thank you. So just to share some thoughts, some potentially closing remarks on the direction of the PRC. There are a bit reflections. We have touched many things these days. I have my own notes. I have a lot of food for thought for my flight back to Madrid. So luckily it's a long flight, so I'll have the time. But we think that has been quite clear and has been mentioned in the chat as well. The need to convince the ATM community, airlines, ANSPs, others to share their data. You know from other forums, this is not easy, not trivial. It's not even cheap. So we need to help them find a motivation for this. We need to tell people out there is having data and is having the opportunity to make them open. Unfortunately, not all of them are going to be non-for-profit, such as OpenSky Network, for which we are really thankful for having this source of data. But if we want to grow in the directions that we have been discussing these 2 days, to overcome some of the challenges, some of the barriers that your researchers, your activities have mentioned, we need to really go there and convince data owners. We truly believe that only that way we can reach the next steps. We can really materialize our vision. I'm not really thinking that we can have a really open data set fulfilling your needs, and that is not fulfilling operational needs. It's difficult that we can get such a complete picture of some of your next steps and challenges. After all, it's really some of the data that we are eager to get are really challenging. So we need to prove a value. For this, as PRC, we would like to identify a few areas of action, and that we think that we might help to move into this direction, to bring complementary data, complementary value, complementary opportunities for this community to build on open data. So first, we would like to integrate the innovation made. Some of of course, there are different areas of research, but some of the activities presented here, so the findings presented here, have a very natural follow-up in the context of what we as PRC do. So it's something that we can easily be taking over. We will be contacting some of the researchers that have been presenting here, just to try to explore ways of further collaborating with them. But we also think that we need to drive some research topics, and we will be through Enrico, through Rainer, also with the opinion of others. We will be possibly identifying and proposing some research topics to the community for your consideration, and hopefully that they are relevant and interesting for you. We think this may have a motivating effect. We think that there are some research cases, of course, that they may need complementary data that can be inspiring members in the aviation community to see a value and really understand the need to share data. Let's say, if I may make a caricature, if we are able to get close to an airline who is willing to make their case in whatever operating environment, in whatever country in Europe or outside Europe, we might offer that. So it's something that we can explore. The PRC have means to further explore that. So we would like maybe also to push and orchestrate these challenges to deliver more than a scattered picture, to deliver a meaningful picture. Of course, it's thinking out of the box, and different researchers are very welcome, but we need to deliver a meaningful picture, I think, in order to make this move. So we might be proposing complementary workshops, maybe some competitions, and for the next OpenSky Symposium to be coordinated with you, with OpenSky Network, we may propose some paper awards in some cases with some kind of recognition. This is in terms of the community. The community seems very healthy, very strong to me, but also in terms of data platform. You have been very clear. There are some topics that have been repeating constantly these 2 days. One of them is the flight table, the harmonized labeling, and we will certainly take an action. We have taken good note of it, as I said, but certainly Enrico and Rainer, and I know that we share this view. So it's something we have very high in our agenda. We will have very high in our agenda as well. Also to provide an orientation to trajectory, to segment of the trajectory of the aircraft is something we have taken good note, has been repeating all over some of your activities, and also to move beyond surveillance data. It's in the same direction that I said before. I think that we have perceived these days with the speak recognition that I particularly like, with some other works, that the true power of open data really unleashes when combined to other data. In particular, it's better if it's more open, because moves in the direction of, as Rainer likes to say, brutal transparency, that I truly believe is the future. So we really need to make this happen, and we need to really, as I said, demonstrate this value, and this is better perceived by others if we come with a full picture that is filling some gaps, some existing gaps, and we need to make them understand which is the benefit they get, and that they get a certain benefit by sharing data. It's not by magic that they are going to share, unfortunately. Okay, so last but not least, I would like to really congratulate. I've been impressed. We have been hearing very interesting findings in algorithms, methods for data collection, data cleaning, modeling, simulation, etc. So really impressed. Also in the application in terms of trajectory estimation, associated applications, and environmental performance. These days has been very interesting. It's very much on my operational background, so really interesting to me. When I came and I asked for the papers to read beforehand, I was not expecting such high levels, so really impressed. Congratulations to you all. Really wonderful to be here. So if I may connect to the vision that we elaborated on the first day, I think we have a clear need today. I ask you for needs, for challenges, for inspiration on how to make this platform, this vision grow, should grow in a structured way. So we have now a very clear that we need to build this reference data set beyond surveillance data. It's very clear. We need to discuss the how. How is the means, and we would like to look for catalysts, for demonstrators. So these proposed research areas that we will be looking for and proposing you as hopefully motivating areas will be in the direction to make this catalyst. We need to make a use case that is appealing to airlines. We need to make a use case that is appealing to safety agencies. We need to make a use case that is appealing to, let's say, ANSPs. So any actor out there, and it's important that they perceive a value, they will come to us, and we truly believe that will have a catalyst effect. It has happened in other domains, and we hope happens in this. Of course, this needs to happen through the community. We are very glad to contribute to this OpenSky Network, very proud to be a sponsor of this event, and we hope to keep doing this in the future. And the goal remains the same. We want to provide transparent and reproducible performance data. It's the only way that we think that the performance across Europe should go. In research of development, but not just for research. We can foresee actual operators, actual service providers using this data, complementing theirs respectively, and also building to this community. So we really see a future in the midterm on this direction. Last, just a very quick overview in the good old time. Well, maybe not so good old times, in the old times, in the 90s, beginning of the century. In particular, when I joined this business, aviation was a very much in silos. Sharing of information was not existing. I have discussed this these days with some of you, with Enrico in particular. There was no integration between data. Progressively, also with the performance scheme, performance report, there has been some focus on data publication, but not really access to the data behind. And now we are moving into this direction. And nowadays we have this forum, this OpenSky Network. But as I said, our vision goes beyond that, and I think that's a common vision of us all in this room. So for next year, PRC will keep collaborating with OpenSky Network. We really are really proud, as I said, to be part of this cooperation, and we hope to be growing in this direction of building a performance data and opening and additional layers of open data for researchers and others as well. Yeah, next year we hope that we are able to bring here tangible improvements in this area, tangible benefits. We will be contacting some potentially interested in sharing data, and we hope that next year when I can go to Delft and tell you good news. So that's the ambition at the very least. And that's all from my side. Just to thank you once again, to really wish you a very good evening, very good weekend, and a safe trip back. Thank you very much for being here.